Hello, children, for this Friday little message. If you remember at all last week, what we talked about was about things that are hidden. There was a man who found a great treasure, and he went and hid it in a field so that he could buy that field and get that great treasure. And Jesus said that that was actually the kingdom of heaven. That is the ability to live in the presence of God, to know Jesus and to walk with him every day. And that's what we have for you and me if we call upon Jesus and believe in him in our hearts, that we will be saved and that we'll actually have fellowship or relationship with God. And that's the greatest treasure of all. So here's the verse I wanted to read tonight. I want you to think about your heart. Now remember, last week we talked about the real heart you have, your physical heart, and I showed you a picture of that. And that heart is inside of you, and you can't see it at all, but it does keep you alive. Just like Jesus, you can't see him, but he is the source of your life. So here's the verse from Romans 10:10. It says, "For it is with your heart that you believe and are justified." So if we remove that word justified and say it is with your heart that you believe and that you are made right with God, or it is with your heart that you believe and you come to know Jesus. That's what that verse really means. It's with your heart that you believe in Jesus. And now the way that verse in Romans 10 is using the word heart is a lot different than the picture I showed you last week. That's your real physical heart, which is a muscle that pumps blood in your body. But the way the Bible uses the word heart, it's like those thoughts that you have in your mind that only you know. So it's the way you think and the feelings or emotions. If you ever feel angry, maybe if someone really hurts your feelings, you feel very sad. Or maybe it's something good happens to you. Maybe you get a present and you feel very happy. All those emotions, that's what the Bible calls your heart. It's where you value the things that are most important to you in your life. That's your heart. Things that you really, really want, or your desires, come from your heart. So it's with your heart that you believe. And if you believe in Jesus with your heart, that is with all your emotions and desires and your intellect and your ability, your conscience, if you believe Jesus that way, then you will come to know him. You will have life in him. And so the way God sees our hearts is how I want you to think. You've never seen your own real heart. You've never seen the way God sees you. But here's an amazing verse, and I want you to look at it here. It's 1 Samuel 16 says this: "The Lord does not look at the things man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." Okay? So when you see me, or when I see you, I see your outward appearance and your eyes and your ears and your hair. But God sees more than that. He sees the inside of us. He sees our heart. That thing that none of us could ever see. Right? And so I want you to ask yourself this question. When God looks at your heart, what does he see? There's two ways you could look at the heart. Is your heart black, and is your heart dark? Or is your heart clean, and is your heart pure? So outside of Jesus Christ, if you don't believe in Jesus, all of our hearts look this way. That's what it means when we're not justified. That means our hearts, all of the desires we have and all of our thoughts and all of the things that we want most in life, or all the things that we say to ourselves, a lot of stuff like that is not very good, and we'd be embarrassed to have other people know what's inside of our heart. But God sees it all. He sees our heart this way. And so if you believe in Jesus and you trust him to be your Lord and your Savior, immediately God makes your heart look like this. It's that simple. That's what he does. And so if you believe in Jesus, God sees your heart this way. And if you don't believe in Jesus, God sees your heart this way. So if you don't believe in Jesus, this is what God sees on the inside of you. And if you do trust in Jesus as your Lord and Savior, you'll have a clean heart. And this is what God will see. So I want you to think about that. How does God see your heart? And the only way to know the answer to that question is, do you believe in Jesus? Do you trust him to be your Lord? Everything he says you want to do. And your Savior, that he's the one who wipes away all your sin and makes you right. If you believe in Jesus that way, this is how he sees your heart today. And if he sees your heart this way now, then you need to simply stop and pray and trust in Jesus right now, and this will be your heart. All right, so that's the message for tonight, and I will see you next week.